Conflict in the Middle East bubbling up and over 45,000 port workers striking in the US. The stock and crypto markets have taken a little itsy-bitsy tumble. But is this dump just getting started? Or will Pumptober save the moon, boys? Well, once again. So if you understand, before the biggest pumps come tiny dumps. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Get signed up to BINGX below if you want to buy Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. And without any further ado, let's absolutely check in to see what is happening. We're seeing that the stock market today is on its, like, I don't know, maybe third day off after hitting record highs. It's been about 3 days since hitting record highs. So far, at the time of recording, actually pretty high off session lows, meaning came all the way down. For example, the S&P all the way down to about 5680. And has already bounced back above 5,700. And you look at, this is the weekly chart here. Also, I mean, really not too much. I mean, it's down a little bit, but it's absolutely nothing insane. But I guess the bigger question is, are we about to see something more insane? We look at Bitcoin as well, actually just getting a monthly candle close, pretty good. Pretty nice monthly candle close. On the daily chart, however, you can see these last 2 days have brought Bitcoin from about 66,500 all the way down to our current prices, only slightly above 60K. Now, at this very second, we have dipped below the 200-day moving average, which sits at about 64,000. We are also, I mean, so far we've actually received a bounce at the 21-day moving average after last week getting a bullish cross of the 21 moving average, going back above the 50-day moving average. So, not bad. Here, if we go to the weekly chart as well for Bitcoin, this is something quite large, is that we just had a weekly candle close recently. We have about 5 days until we get another weekly candle. And really the only thing that matters here is on the weekly chart getting a close above the 21-week moving average, which it basically means we need a close above 63,000 US dollars. And we have about 5 days to do it. Is that doable? Oh, it's not only is it doable, but yeah, it's doable. So, I mean, yeah, that's 1,000% possible. But we do have some other, like, really big things that are actually affecting the markets. So we do see that the port worker strike begins across East and Gulf coasts. Basically, the goods that come into America are by boat. And this will absolutely have a drastic effect on a lot of things and put a lot of pressure on everything. I mean, that's why the stock market is kind of heading down. But also, not only that, we also see Iran launching missiles at Israel. We see oil spiking over 5% because of that. And yeah, just talks of potential, potentially World War III or whatever it is. So here we have this conflict. We have the ports, which directly affects the economy, which directly affects the stock market and everything, right? We have the election in the US coming up in weeks. And I mean, those are very big things. Now, so far, the price hasn't gone down that much. And if we actually look, I think it's possible because of all these things, it could, in the short term, could go lower. At this very second, though, I mean, Bitcoin specifically is kind of just right at the top of this descending channel. Once again, for the third time. But as we talked about in the last video, that, a retest was going to come, in my opinion. Well, I said a retest was going to come probably within the next week or so. And here we are. We're kind of already seeing something like that. The bigger question, though, is, are we going to actually fall back completely within this range, start getting daily closes back in here, and kind of, set us back and basically into more dumpy price action? That's kind of the big question here. Now, October is historically a very good month for crypto in the stock market. October, November, and December, honestly, are all really good. But also, Octobers during an election year have always been positive historically for Bitcoin so far in history, so that's good. And basically, starting off the very first day of the month with, basically 2 days, the last day of September and the first day of October, with dumps. Does that mean Pumptober is canceled? No, absolutely not. Could we start off the first week, even maybe 2 weeks of October, of Pumptober with dumpiness? Absolutely. I mean, we could. September what? We opened at about 58,000, went all the way down to about 52, and then pumped all the way up to 66 before September was over. And September is historically a bad month. And it honestly didn't. It actually did pretty well in September. So we could see, especially because we have these I mean, is it coincidence? Who knows? But we have these outside factors globally that are absolutely going to influence the markets, and they are influencing the markets. But I mean, at this point, it hasn't even been too drastic. Especially, you have to see how long these port strikes last, or this port strike lasts, and also I think the bigger one is potential war, an escalation in war in Israel. That's going to be big, and it will affect the stock market. But overall, the weekly here is probably the most important thing. Weekly close on Bitcoin. This weekly chart also showing the MACD getting so close. It's going to be delayed a little bit now if we have a continued downside move for the next couple sessions. It depends what happens here, but so close to flipping bullish here for the very first time. Really, what in over a year or about a year, when Bitcoin ran from about 29,000 to all-time highs at about 74,000. So that's going to be a big driver of what actually happens here. In terms of the charts, honestly, I mean, everything still looks pretty good. We put in this higher high instead of a lower high for the very first time, and now we're having a retest, and that's not bad at all. I mean, this range honestly was probably, I mean, we haven't gone down to 60 yet, and we very easily could. We even could dip our tip a little below 60 even today. And, it doesn't necessarily have to have any long-term implications for like a sustained downtrend. It could be absolutely fine. I mean, retests are retests. We've been going up pretty consistently since the beginning of September, as you can see here. And, getting a retest, testing this zone right here around 59 to 60, which historically has been really big support and resistance just for the past 7 months. And I believe, I mean, definitely even going back much further than that, the $59,000-$60,000 range was kind of where Bitcoin was unable to get even weekly closes back in the previous bull market. You see these wicks, but really we could not really get any sustained weekly closes above 60K. It's kind of where it topped out at the beginning of 2021 and where it topped out at the very end of 2021. We got a couple weekly closes that quickly got rejected there. So 60K is pretty much, it's a huge level. And I mean, so far, price is doing pretty well there. 21, 50-week moving averages, we're still sitting right on them. RSI, MACD, everything's still looking good. Stock market is really important to watch. So far, it's honestly having a decent bounce, which is a little surprising because, we'll have to see if that actually continues. But the US dollar is up as well because of these fears globally. Really, the big test is exactly what we've been talking about for the past week or so, since we have been really pushing above this range, is we have to see if Bitcoin actually maintains these levels. So daily closes above 62 and 63,000 are just very, very necessary. Every day that goes by, it could be a little bit lower because it's descending, but overall, it is more important to keep an eye on the conflict we're seeing, and also the mystery, because the market doesn't like uncertainty. Bad news and good news, for the most part, they'll drive markets, but the biggest thing that drives markets to the downside is uncertainty, and we're just seeing some uncertainty right now. But I mean, so far it's really nothing too drastic, but starting off this month with a little bit of a dump. We did the same thing in September. The first week of September was very dumpy, and then immediately after that, the rest of September was really good. So way too early to make any decisions. It's more so about what closes we're going to get today in the stock market and with Bitcoin. And get signed up to FEMEX below if you want Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. And without any further ado, from me.